What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in today's video, we are continuing my reviews for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we are going on to The Incredible Hulk. So once again, thank you guys so much for going to my Instagram story poll and going and voting for this film. It was between The Incredible Hulk and Couples Retreat. I'm really glad that you guys chose The Incredible Hulk. I would have been happy with either one. But I am looking to use the losers of these various polls I've been doing for future polls, so do look out for that. I just wanted to say a big thanks to all of you who voted. And if you are not voting just yet, go down to the Instagram link in my description box, follow the link, follow me, and keep up with my Instagram story. There will be another poll shortly after this is posted. So Incredible Hulk, this is the second film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and arguably the one that matters the least. I hate saying that because I love The Incredible Hulk as a film. I enjoy it for what it is. I think it's one of my favorite Hulk-related things. I really have fallen in love with Mark Ruffalo in the role. But yeah, I remember before Mark Ruffalo was the Hulk in the first Avengers film, and obviously we've all grown to love him, and he's really expanded and grown what the Hulk ever was in a live-action format. But, this film right here, Edward Norton's The Incredible Hulk, I thought was just such a great time. I remember seeing it in theaters and having a great time with him. I have rewatched it many, many times in the future, and even not too long ago recently, and I still thoroughly enjoy this film. Now, there are some negatives I have, and I definitely want to really get into that really quickly. But yeah, I really do enjoy this movie. I had a great time with it, and I really love the feel and the vibe of this Hulk film. So in this film, you have Edward Norton playing Bruce Banner as the Hulk, and yes, this is in the same continuity of the MCU. If you have not seen this film, and you just kind of thought, oh, maybe it's not connected because a different actor playing the Hulk, they did recast him after this. I guess he just chose not to continue. I don't know all the ins and outs of that story, but it's a big bummer because I really do love Edward Norton as an actor, and I really enjoyed him in the role here. I think he brings something really unique and different to the character of Bruce Banner. I really enjoy the tension and the sense of urgency that he gives to his character in being the Hulk. In this film, Bruce does not want to be the Hulk. He's trying to hide. He's trying to hide from the military out in South America, and he's just kind of trying to stay quiet, really not try to raise his heart rate. He's been learning different types of yoga and different kinds of ways to meditate and just calm down. He doesn't want his heart rate to even rise even a little bit, to even have the opportunity for the Hulk to come out. He's really trying to hide it, suppress it. And the main reason that he's hiding in a different country under a different name and just trying to completely go under the radar is because the government is looking for him, so they want his blood. They want what he has inside of him. In this film, you also have Liv Tyler as Betty Ross, you have Tim Roth as Abomination, and you have William Hurt as General Ross, otherwise known as Thunderbolt Ross. And yeah, he's the only character, General Ross, that really matters as far as the continuity of this film. He's the only actor that continues on after this film of the main cast, and the only one that really matters in some way. He shows up again in Civil War later on, but other than that, all the rest of this cast really never shows up again in the MCU, and sadly, it's become the inconsequential piece to the whole puzzle. There is a big surprise cameo at the end of the film. I'm sure if you've seen the movie, you will have seen it, but it's the main thing that really connects this film to the rest of the MCU. It makes it an inseparable part of the MCU. So right out of the gate, what I really love about this film is that it's a really cool and gritty and just really grounded take on the Hulk. I really enjoyed the way that Edward Norton plays him. There are some hokey parts and some cheesy parts and some funny parts that maybe don't land as well, but I thoroughly still enjoy his portrayal and everybody's performance in this film. Liv Tyler's a little bit weepy in this film, which is typically what she tends to do, but I really do enjoy his performance in this film too, and I enjoy the chemistry between them. You can feel the chemistry that they had prior to the events of this film and the relationship they had, that it's really there. There are some real good emotional beats that I feel are really easy to kind of just lean your heart into when you're watching the film. Tim Roth plays an amazing villain in this film, and I really enjoy just how excited he was to really take on the Hulk in this film. And this is before he ends up becoming Abomination, which is just a really cool fight scene at the end of the film as well. I really enjoy the Hulk versus Abomination. I always wanted to see Abomination brought to the big screen, and to be able to see him brought to the big screen was super exciting. I really love how he looks and his vibe and his feel in this film. It's very different compared to the comic books. That in a way, I feel like I wish I would have gotten a more comic book accurate looking Abomination, but I do really enjoy how he looks in this film for what he is, and I enjoy the clash between them. I enjoy Tim Roth as a villain before he becomes Abomination, and even after he becomes Abomination, and I just thoroughly enjoy Tim Roth in this film. He's a really great actor, and I think everybody in this film gives a really solid performance. There's some really great action in this film as well, and some really solid visuals. Now, compared to today's standards of CGI, definitely not the strongest visuals that we could have gotten, but there are some specific moments in the film, specific shots of the Hulk and specific action sequences that really stand out to me as just really awesome, badass moments. Some of my favorite MCU MCU moments altogether, and some of my favorite on-screen Hulk moments are in this film. If I had to lean into any real negatives that I have, like I mentioned, there are some cheesy moments that, you know, I'm a sucker for cheesiness sometimes. You know, I can really lean into a certain element of cheese, and when it comes to comic book movies, I do like cheesy sometimes. You know, there are older films that I can objectively recognize are not good films, and that they are not something that I'd say, oh, you need to watch this because it's a masterpiece or it's an amazing film. You know, not every film can be the Dark Knight trilogy or, you know, some of these later of MCU films that we've all come to expect as really, really solid, good films. You know, sometimes you just have those cheesier, you know, installments, and I think this one definitely has those cheesier moments, but like I mentioned, it does have really grounded moments as well, and I really do enjoy what the actors did with their portrayals here, and, you know, the relationships and the chemistry. One thing that I definitely always buy into when I watch this movie is that the relationships that they had prior to the events of these films are real. You can feel the emotion and the weight behind them. This film doesn't give us the Hulk origin. It does, you know, kind of hint at it in the credits at the beginning of the film, but they don't really force feed that to you or re-explain to you how he became the Hulk. They're already kind of expect that you know how he became the Hulk. They do mention it a couple times here, you know, in a few moments of dialogue, but for the most part, they don't show you an origin. And in this film, he's already been the Hulk before. He's already had all his problems as the Hulk. He's caused problems as the Hulk before, and that's why he's in hiding. And I really do enjoy that chemistry between all the characters when they do finally all get together, and, you know, that you can kind of see their history kind of coming out in their performances, the connection, the relationships that they've had. Whether it's good or bad, you know, with all the different characters, there's a clash of different emotions and relationships, and I really do enjoy the chemistry between the characters and the connections. Outside of that one cameo at the very end of the movie, like I mentioned, I won't go ahead and spoil this for you in case you've never ever seen the MCU before. Like I mentioned in my previous reviews, I don't like to spoil this kind of stuff, and I'd much rather you be able to go and watch the film if you're like, you know what, I'm finally going to give the MCU a try. I'd love for you to be able to watch this and have a nice surprise when things happen. There are a few mentions of S.h.i.e.L.D. and some stuff about Stark Industries in this film. I don't think that's a huge spoiler, just kind of like mention of it or stuff you'd see in the background. So that's kind of the main connections that this film has to the MCU. It isn't until after this film that they really started, you know, taking the connections to the MCU very, very seriously. And, you know, like I said, with the connections it has in this film, at this point, it's inseparable, which, you know, kind of sucks for them in a little bit because they've had to recast or not even really worry about the majority of the cast in this film, which I would love to see Liv Tyler reprise her role as Betty Ross in a future MCU film. I think that would be awesome, but Lord knows if that'll ever happen, and you know, I think that's a bummer. But I do think it's awesome that William Hurt was able to come back as General Ross. I do enjoy his character and the role he's played in the MCU, though it isn't too much screen time that he has across all of the films. I really do enjoy his presence in the film, and, you know, I do hope one day we get the Thunderbolt Ross that we know he ends up becoming eventually. But yeah, I do really enjoy this movie, guys. I think it's a lot of fun. Do I think it's perfect? No. You know, there's definitely some flaws. There's definitely some slower moments and some lines of dialogue or some scenes that could have been cut. But for the most part, I think this is a solid Hulk movie with a lot of fun, a really cool action sequence at the end, and just great action throughout it. And some really, really cool Hulk moments. If you just like seeing the Hulk go crazy and having a good time, then just tearing stuff up, you can definitely get that in this film. And one last negative that I'll get into that tends to bother me a little bit when I watch the film, not so much that it takes me out of the film or anything like that, but it's just that there's certain moments in the film where the cinematography or the look of the film, it just feels a little bland and uninspired. For the most part, there's this cool gritty look and there's some really cool action sequences with some great colors and some great cinematography, but there are moments in this film where it just kind of feels disconnected from what the rest of the film is, and it just kind of feels a little flat. And so that would be the main negative that I have. Like I said, this isn't a perfect film. I wouldn't even put it towards like the upper echelon of MCU films. I put it more in middle road for me, maybe a little bit less than middle road, but I do really enjoy all of these films. You know, it's awesome to see where the MCU has gone from here. You know, you would only hope and expect that they would get better, and I think this is a great installment. I think if you've never seen this film before, whether you're going to continue the MCU or not, this movie stands on its own as just a solid, fun Hulk movie, and I really do thoroughly enjoy it, guys. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again to all of you who voted for this review. Make sure you guys look out for after this is posted on my Instagram story. I will be posting polls for the next review. If you miss out on the next one, just, you know, go ahead and follow me on Instagram because I will have more as time goes on. So thank you guys so much again for watching this review. Thank you guys so much for the constant support. I know I'm saying thank you a lot, but I never really want that to be taken for granted. You know, there's a lot of people who make these videos and they say thank you, bye. And it's just not me. You know, like for all of you who are continually subscribing and watching and you know, engaging and commenting down below and hitting that like button, I'm seeing it. You know, I'm seeing this channel slowly grow, and not only slowly grow, right, but slowly growing as far as the people commenting down below. So, you know, slowly growing, you guys becoming more engaged with me, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted this to feel like a community. I wanted this channel to feel like we can have a conversation, like you're watching me give my point of view, but I definitely want to hear what you guys say. So thank you guys one last time. That'll be the end of my thank yous. I do appreciate it. Hit that like button down below. Comment your thoughts on this film. You know, I want to know, what's your favorite Hulk moment in the MCU? Give me that. Favorite Hulk moment in the MCU. Yeah, guys, hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed already. Maybe you're on the fence. Maybe you don't know if you should. Maybe you saw me in your recommendations today and you thought, I'll give this guy another watch. Just subscribe, guys. Just subscribe. Okay, that went on for too long. Anyway, thank you guys so much again. I said thank you again. I'm sorry. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.